to give you so many tips that will help you build your business. And if you implement what I'm going to talk to you about today, I promise you, you are going to get results. So scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, Jackie, I know I'm not going to do this. And 10 being like, I am willing to do what it takes. I am going to follow this lead and trust that this is going to help you in your business. I would love to know in the chat. Make sure you have pen and paper, and we are going to go through all of the things. Okay. So I have notes on my phone or notes on my thing here, so we don't get too out of, you know how it can go, right? All of a sudden we're talking about whatever it is, just kind of happens to the best of us. Okay, here we go. And guys, if your team is not on here, make sure that you are A, sharing the live stream in our team page to your chats, or B, just getting them on here, reminding them we're on, okay? So I am excited tonight to do a training on branding and a personal brand and why this is important in your business. Now, I've been having a lot of conversations the last couple of days with people that are just like, man, I feel like I could be getting more results, or I feel like I'm at a standstill, or I feel like my network isn't growing. Anybody feel that way? You can put it in the chat. You're like, what do I do from here? And so I thought it would be a perfect time to do this training because this is going to be the answer to a lot of the issues that you're having. If you want to enroll more, branding is going to be important. If you want to connect with like-minded people, branding is going to be important. But I realize that not everybody knows how or what a brand is, why it's important, and we're going to go through all of those things tonight, okay? So first of all, let's talk about what a brand is when it comes to your business. Now, I feel a lot of people, when they join a network marketing company, they join It Works, they think, okay, I am an It Works boss babe, and now I got to be an It Works boss babe all over my page. Or you hear people that say, should I create a whole new page for my It Works post? Hard no, absolutely not. Hard pass on that. Why? Because nobody wants to feel sold to all the time. Nobody wants to see It Works, product, business all the time. And if you look down your page and you're like, man, that's what I'm doing, don't feel bad about that, for one, because there are just some people that aren't even willing to post at all. So I would way rather have somebody that's willing to post, but learn the skill that we're going to teach you right now to tweak some things. And I think what you're going to find is when you do this consistently, you're going to get way better results. Okay. So let's first talk about what a brand is. Your brand is your business reputation. Okay. It's what people think of when they think about you. Now, obviously, It Works is going to be a part of your brand, but it is not your whole brand. Your brand is going to be what allows your network to have loyalty to you, connect with you. They're going to be able to predict what's coming. It's going to allow them to build that relationship. One of the best tips that I remember getting was, I remember asking someone, like, how do I how do I spend my time building relationships with all these prospects and potentials? And like, I barely, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have the time to ask every single person that I'm talking to what they had for dinner last night. That's actually not what you need to do in network marketing. What you need to do is not build I'll build the relationship with you after you enroll. But before that, I want to be relatable. And your brand is going to help you relate to people, relate to your people. Your brand will be defined by what your team, your network, your prospects, they see on your page. So this is going to be like what people see and think and feel when they don't know you yet. This is going to be the thing that allows them to connect with you. People are going to start associating things and situations and just different scenarios with your brand, which means they're going to be thinking about you and talking about you when you're not there. Okay? So I want you to start thinking about people that you admire in this business. Do you know them for things outside of It Works, right? Like, who do you connect with in this business, right? I don't know if you guys follow Katie Bevington, but a big part of her brand is like the natural, like healing. She got me making a sourdough starter downstairs. Like, these are the things that she talks about that are not It Works, that people connect with her in, okay? So that's what a brand is. Put a yes in the chat if this makes sense. We know that a brand is what people think of you. We know that a brand creates loyalty. We know that a brand is going to connect people with you. It's going to make you relatable. But now the question is how do we determine your brand? right? This can be very confusing and overwhelming for people. And I want you to just know that your brand is not something that you can overcomplicate. Your brand is simply you. Now, as you start doing these things, I need you to know, especially if you're new, your brand is not going to be built overnight. It's not going to be built in a week. It's not going to be built in a month. Like everything in this business, building your brand requires consistency. It evolves over time. Where you start today, Team Sourdough, where you start today, your brand is going to evolve, right? It's going to change. It's going to be different over time. It's going to expand. So the key to creating a strong brand is to stay consistent in what you do. Keep showing people who you are and what your brand is, which we'll go into in a second. And then when you start building that brand consistently, when you are like in the thick of this, what you're going to notice is that you build a following of people that are just like you. Okay. So you're going to start doing these things and you might not get traction right away. You need to be your brand's biggest cheerleader, your brand's biggest advocate. You need to be the person that shows up for your brand the most, because like anything in this business, okay, it's a little chip. It's a little chip. You do something and it feels like it's not working, but then boom, that one video goes, or boom, that one post connects with the right person. Like I truly believe, you guys know that it's like that picture and it's like the 3 feet from gold, and there's like the split screen, and the one guy, and he like they're both digging for gold, or vertically or horizontally, vertically, who the hell knows? I don't even know. Vertically is this way, right? It's this way, right? Someone tell me. Sarah's laughing. It's this way, right? Okay. Horizontally. This is horizontally. I don't know. It looks like we're just all dancing at this point. I don't even know what's going on. Sarah's breaking it down. But listen, it's something that just like, it really is something that you have to do consistently. I can't tell you how many times I've done something in this business and I feel like it's not working, but I've just trusted the process. And then that one thing goes, that one video goes, that one reel goes, that one post connects with the one person that comes in and changes your business. But the point is it has to start with you. Okay. Now, one thing that you also need to know is people are not going to do business with you because you do it works. People are actually not buying it works. They're buying you, right? You have to start asking yourself, like, why would somebody buy from me and my company versus Amazon? Why would somebody buy from, Sarah instead of me? Why would somebody join with Keziah instead of Veronica? And this is all going to come down to your branding. What you're going to realize is this has nothing to do with It Works. It Works is a part of you. You were a person before you joined It Works, right? So this is like one saying that I just like keep coming back to. People will join and buy and take action and do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you are not out there building your brand, if you are only out there talking about It Works, you're just another network marketer doing it. And you're not going to connect with people. And you're going to feel discouraged because you're going to feel like it's falling on deaf ears. People come in and they think, I got to be everything to everybody. And this is your sign to know that you don't want to be everything to everybody. You want to be specific and dialed into the people that you want to connect with, which is what we're going to go over here. Okay. So how can you start determining what your brand is? So some of the questions you might want to ask yourself, and I would get a pen and paper and write this down, is like, who are you? You could be like, I'm a mom. Okay, but who were you before you were a mom? Like, what lights your soul on fire? What are you passionate about? And maybe you're like, man, no, I'm like a mom. That's like, what kind of mom? Like, are you a crunchy mom? Are you a mom that's like all organic? Are you a mom that's like, like tough love mom? Are you a mom that's like, are you the pack mom? Like, drop it in the chat. I'm curious. What kind of mom are you? Are you the sourdough starter mom? Are you the mom that's like, and Sarah's like, no. I just see Sarah's face. She's like, no, girl, I'm buying the sourdough. Fur mom to a tabby cat. Yes. Okay. Are you a mom? Like, and maybe you're like, I'm not a mom. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, are you a grandma? Are you a farm mom? Are you somebody that, like, it's like, what can you talk about? What can you, what are you passionate about? Really, what are you passionate about? What do you stand for? What beliefs do you have? What are those things that you're like, I have a burning desire for this? What do you represent? What is like your purpose? You know, what things do you love? These are all questions you can be writing down. What things do you love? What do you care about? Okay. What can you talk about very confidently and just not get bored of it? What could you start a conversation with? What could you walk into a room and feel passionately that you know how to carry on that conversation? And I think one of the biggest trips about this is that you overthink these things, right? We think our life or our interests are boring or not important because we're actually the ones living it, right? But in reality, this world, social media is filled with so many different types of people that you learning how to share this stuff properly is actually going to be so inspirational, interesting for people to read, watch, and connect to. Okay. So these things that you're writing down, the who are you, the what do you stand for, what do you love, what do you represent, these things are going to be the basis of your brand. So my first task for you guys to do is just start thinking about these things. Just jot down whatever comes to your mind. It could be that you love to hike. It could be that you love, to cook with a slow cooker. It could be that you love this breed of dogs and this is like it could be that you love to cook. It could be that you're passionate about mental health, recovery. I love that. Cooking, bonus grandma, cats, sheep. Yes. Okay. Sarah says, write more because I had to figure out my identity when my kids. Yeah, this is like something that people feel. They're like, I feel like I'm just a mom. No, you're not just a mom. You were a person before you had kids. Your interests were there before you have kids. And so you have to start thinking about these things. What sets your soul on fire? This is the basis of your brand. Okay. Now, I'm going to teach you guys how you start sharing and posting this stuff in regards to your business to get exposure and to build your brand. But I know one of the questions that comes from this is like, okay, if my interests are dogs, okay, I love dogs, I love this breed of dog, or I love to do hair, I love to, curl hair and do the hair routine. Maybe you're like, I love to do makeup. I love to cook with a slow cooker. I love to do keto. I love low carb, whatever it is. How random and crazy you think your specific brand or niche is. The question becomes, well, if I'm talking about my dog, how does this translate to building a business? Does anybody think like that? Like, okay, if I'm like, does anybody kind of think like, man, I thought I should be posting It Works all day, every day. And if I'm not doing that, how does like me talking about my dog translate to business? Well, when you have narrowed down your niche, your brand, your interests, your passions, you're being relatable, you're sharing this stuff on social media, what starts to happen is, yes, people relate. And what happens when people relate? There's a connection. There is trust that's being built, like Sarah said. And then this becomes people finding value in your posts and content outside of the business. And then when they see you dripping your coffee, when they see you, man, Jackie, I've been seeing you drinking that aloe every single morning on your story. I actually found you from a Vancouver Island group, but now I see you talking about this aloe. What is that? This is how you build your business. There is a reason that there is a lot of people on our team that live on the island. There is a reason that when I lived in Mexico, there are people on our team that live in Cabo. There is a reason that the people I attract are very similar to who I am because I've brought them into my network on something authentic and real and vulnerable. And they've built the connection through that. And then there's the trust there because they know, like, and trust me because I'm not just sharing the business. And then there's that connection when I post about the business. Does this make sense? Drop it in the chat if we're making sense. So it's actually less about posting about the business over and over and over and over again, and more posting about your pillars, more posting about your brand, more posting about you. Okay. People generally are not going to connect to you over business. They're not going to connect to you because you're selling Slimmer for $39. They're not going to buy a product just because it was launched. So where some people are feeling frustrated because they're like, man, how does this person enroll 20 people and I'm enrolling none? It's not because they're better than you. It's not because they have anything in them that you don't have. It's just that they've found their people. So many people think I have to be for everyone. I'm going to be for every single person that's looking for a job out there. Your recruitments will be probably zero. But if you, what I call trim the fat, meaning you narrow into your niche and your brand, and you do this consistently, what's going to start to happen is you're going to be like, all of a sudden, I have a bunch of Vancouver Island people on my page. All of a sudden, I have a bunch of people who have bulldogs on my page. All this, I mean, when I started this business, one of my biggest pillars was Mike being in the railway, and I was a railway wife. And so I was able to post content around that, talk about things, and I'll give you some strategy for this in a second. But so much of my content was just sharing the life of a railway wife and the struggles of him going out for 300 hours a month, and where he's going, and the trains and the questions and all these things. And other railway wife moms connected with me through that, and then they joined. Like, it's very much a process. Okay, so the brand is you. I just have that again. The brand is you. People think about you when you're not talking to them. Don't overthink this. Don't think that it has to be something that you're not. I think the biggest thing about you building a brand is that you're authentic. Like, you have to be authentic. Like, you can't be your upline. Like, I can't be you. You know what I mean? Like, who you are is truly a gift. I remember like learning this when I started, and I've shared this before on here, but like someone said to me, they're not going to join because it works. They're going to join because it's you. And I literally, like, in my mind was like, oh no, they're not. Like, they're not. I have nothing to like, before you've had success in this business, and you can drop a heart if you relate to this, you kind of give yourself the hardest time. You're like, who am I to be able to do this with someone? Who am I to be able to help somebody make an income? The reality is you were brave enough to start not knowing anything. And so you have to know that there's other people that are going to do that too. And if you don't show up authentically in who you are, then you're actually missing the opportunity to connect with the right people. Okay. So don't overthink it. Just think about your interests, your passions, and don't be scared of this changing. You are going to evolve. In fact, if you're not evolving, that's probably the biggest problem that you have. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be willing to evolve. You have to be willing to connect with these people. Now, the other thing about building an authentic brand and being authentic and being true to yourself is people feel like scared to share this on social media. Whether that's from the fear of judgment, or it's the fear of like putting yourself out there, or the fear of not thinking you're good enough or interesting enough, or whatever it is. Maybe you don't like how you look. I remember thinking, like, I wasn't confident in how I looked. I hate my voice. Like, do you know when you hear your own voice and you're like, you may as well just drag those fingernails down a chalkboard? Like, honestly, like, I would rather listen to that. Like, shut it off. Like, I get angry. I'm like, don't listen to that around me. Like, who is that little squirrel voice? Okay. And all of these fears, all of these like irrational fears of, what if they don't like me? Or what if I'm not good enough? Or I don't like this. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now that this is literally your ego. Nobody cares as much as you care. And you are doing such a disservice to yourself, your family, and the people that you can help in a business like this by playing small because you don't like something about you. Okay? My daughter's talking back to you. I love it. So I think that's something I don't know who needs to hear that today, but don't let the fear of you not knowing or not feeling ready hold you back from authentically being yourself. If you fumble over your words, good. I don't relate to perfect people. Do you relate to perfect people? Like, seriously, tell me, like, yes or no. Like, when you see somebody on social media that's perfect all the time, that has it together all the time, number one, I don't trust it. And number two, I don't relate to you because I'm not perfect. I stumble over my words. I bomb videos sometimes, right? I suck at things. I triple, like, all of the quirks that you have, you need to honor those, okay? Because this gives me belief. That gave me belief when I saw a regular person that clearly had doubts, that clearly had fear, but showed up anyways. This gives people empowerment to know they can do it too. I'll tell you, I was I spent like 30 minutes trying to did all of this on a Canva presentation today. And I literally stopped halfway through, A, because I hate Canva, but B, because I was like, no, I'm just gonna talk to you guys because like I don't want you to think that you have to create a whole freaking Canva presentation to do a training because you don't. You have to just show up as you are, and it's going to be for some people, and it's not going to be for other people. But the good news is there's 8 billion people on this planet. And the longer that you stay in this box of comfort and security because you're scared to show up for who you really are, man, like you're missing out on so much. Like I say this to my kids, like I'm like, you have to just be okay with some people not liking what you do. You have to be okay with somebody not understanding why you're on your story for the 5th time today. What I've learned in this business is people are going to judge you regardless. Have you ever been judged before for anything? Yes. So when it comes to being like an authentic version of yourself, you guys are here for a reason, right? Like you're not here because you're bored. You're here because you know that this business can change something for you. And so the longer that you're here not being your true self, you're just hurting yourself because somebody needs you to show up as you are so they can believe they can too. I'm going to share this with you because I mean, like, I know that a lot of you guys know this, but one of the parts of my story that I was really scared to share was going through addiction. Some of you guys may not know this, but before I had my kids, I went through like a year and a half of my life where probably should have died. And I remember being so terrified to share this on social media because I thought, who and what are they going to think about me if I share these like demons in my closet? And maybe it's not addiction for you, but maybe it's a failure. Maybe it's a something you've gone through, divorce, separation. Maybe it's you failed at something. Maybe you thought your life was going to be here and it's not. And you feel, again, your ego is the enemy, by the way. I literally have that on my phone. Ego is the enemy. It's not good. Mental health, right? Like we get so scared to share these things because we feel the fear of what other people are going to think and say and do. But what I realized when I opened up, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do this because I'm like, obviously I didn't just come out and say, hey, everybody, here's the darkest secrets of my life. Buckle up. Like, I'm not trying to traumatize people, but there is a way that you can share it where it's authentic. And what I learned was there's value in this because there's someone out there going through addiction right now that's counting themselves out and they can never make anything of themselves because they feel so low. But like, man, I can't tell you the amount of people that have come to me in literal tears saying, thank you for sharing this. I have been through this and you have now given me the belief to know that you can get on the other side. And so what are these things for you that you're hiding and you're squishing down and you're just trying to be this it works person online to make it just be this like professional, no, that's not who you are. And you're probably not finding alignment or joy in what you're doing because that is not who you are. Okay? So, let's talk about building a brand that people love. We talked about they're going to buy you. They're not buying It Works. They're not buying you. They could go buy these products or something similar anywhere. They could, you know what I mean? They're literally buying you. So they don't buy what you do. Write this down. They don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. So every brand, every company, every successful company, every brand, every person, an influencer, like who are some influencers that aren't even in network marketing that you admire? They are a brand. You will be a brand. And every brand has a purpose behind it. Okay. This could be like, when we even think about like Nike or something, it's like, just do it, right? That is so much more than just a little swoosh check mark. That is like the motto. That is the brand. That is the slogan. Why do you exist in the business space? What makes you different from the next person? Understanding that it's okay to be different. Who is going to connect with me may not connect with you, and who is going to connect with you would maybe never sign with me. What makes you different? Why would somebody shop with you? These are questions you can ask yourself. So write these down. What makes you different? What sets you apart? Why are you here? right? We always talk about our why, like, why are you in this business? I remember starting this and being like, okay, like literally at one of the lowest points in my life, $60,000 in credit card debt, just had a new baby, like feeling so lost. And I just had this realization, like, I know that I'm not the last mom on planet Earth that feels sick to her stomach about dropping my kids off at daycare and leaving them in the hands of somebody that doesn't love them like I do, to go work at a job that frankly isn't even paying for me to go to work and the cost and covering the cost of daycare. And so all of a sudden, I knew like who I was speaking to and why I was here. I was here to help other moms just like me. I was here because I understood that other people were in my situation. So when you're building your brand and when you're thinking about these things, it really is like what sets you apart? Why do people want to join you? Who are you and who do you connect with? The other question you can ask yourself is, what are the problems that you solve? Right? And this is going to be like when we dissect our pillars in just a minute, this is going to become more clear. But here's a perspective that I want to give you. When people swipe their card with you, when people spend their money with you, it is because they see you or your product or your service as a solution to the problems that they have. So when you're just copying and pasting these generic product posts, the reason why some of those work for others and maybe not some of you is because when somebody that's building a brand intentionally does one of those like hook posts, looking for someone that's ready to lose weight, looking for someone that wants to join my team, they're not getting you, they're not joining you because of that post, but they're taking action because of that post, because of all the previous work that you've done, showing them how you can help them. Does this make sense? People are not joining you and buying products from you because they want to help you go ruby. They don't care about you going diamond. They don't care about this. They're doing it because of what it can do for them. Humans are very selfish. All of us. We like, you know what I mean? We're everyone's thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about what you're doing in this business for the most part. I mean, you might have some cool people that whatever, but you know what I'm saying? The people on social media don't care. So when it comes to talking about the products and the business, when you can start tweaking your written content, your speaking content, your posts, your stories to whoever my avatar is that I'm talking to, aka the railway wife, the mom at home with their kids that's struggling going to her 2 jobs to be broke every single month. When they read my posts, are they thinking about the solution to their problem that I can provide? Does this make sense? Am I talking delusion right now? Or are we making sense? Are we following? Let me know. Okay. So example, products. What if you did like, what if one of your, I'm just going to say, what if one of your brands, what if one of your pillars was gut health? Let's just say. You could make a post that says, looking for someone to try my aloe. It's $39. Let me know if you want the link. No. Or you can say, you know, are you somebody that struggles with indigestion? Maybe you're somebody that has IBS. Maybe you're somebody that's always feeling bloating, always feeling lethargic, always having breakouts on your face. That's how that's where I was. I found this drink that I started taking every morning, and here's here's what it's done for me, right? You're giving them a solution to the problem. I always think of it this way. When it's products, you can present a solution to a problem they know they already have. People know that they feel bloated. They know that they're overweight. They know that their hair is brittle. They know that they're low energy. They know that they're not feeling their best. When it comes to the business, typically you are presenting through your posts and your stories and your reels and things like that, a solution to a problem that they don't even know they have. They don't even know they're looking for that solution. Drop a yes if you feel this. I didn't know this was an option. I thought if you wanted to be okay, you had to go to a job. And then if you didn't have enough money at that job, go get another job. And if that one didn't work, well, go get a payday loan. Until I saw somebody solve my problem consistently, I was attracted to her through her branding. I knew that she was a mom. I knew that she had 2 kids. I knew that she lived 3 cities over from me. I knew that she was spending her day on the beach and buying boats and cash and putting groceries on the table. But when she talked about all this stuff, it was because like to me, I'm like, that's the solution to my problem. So if you want to get more results, ask yourself, are you selling or are you giving solutions? Solutions versus selling is going to get you further every single time. And then the third part of this, right? So this is like building the brand that people love. It's the what, what's your purpose? It's the how, what are the problems you can solve? And it's the why should people care? Why should people care you're doing this? So to me, when I hear this, I'm like, why people are going to care that I'm doing this is because I am relentlessly consistent in my message. I am not disappearing for 2 weeks and then talking about something random and then I'm just here. They're going to care because my message is the same. And through your consistency and building your brand and talking about your products and doing this business, dripping it in, you're going to develop that, like, people just, they like watch you. You know what I mean? Like, can you guys put it in the chat how long you watched the person that you joined with before you actually joined? 4 days. Okay, Caitlin. Kayla's like, I'm in, and I'm coming to earn all the Christmas cash right now. 5 months, 3 years, 2 weeks, a couple days, 1 month, 6 months, 7 months, 4 months, 6 months, all of these different answers. And so what this should show you is that the longer you do this, okay, the number one reason people are not successful in what we do is their recipe for disaster is start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. You have to just literally trust that if okay, I know I've said this before, but think of it like a what's it called? Airplane taking off the runway. Think about putting a bag of popcorn in the microwave. I've tried this, by the way. If you try to put a bag of popcorn in the microwave, do it for 20 seconds, stop it. Do it for 20 seconds, stop it. Take my word on it, because inflation is crazy, girl. That, like, you don't want to be like wasting popcorn, but I will tell you that it doesn't pop. It doesn't pop if you start, stop, start, stop. So what happens is when you have this consistent message over time, you're going to see that leads just kind of like come in at different times. It's like that popcorn machine we talk about. The leads are always coming in. Some are going to pop sooner than others. But the surefire way to make sure they don't pop is for you to stop what you're doing. Okay? So tip I have when it talks about like building your brand is look at the people around you. Look around you, the people that you follow. Who do you connect with on social media? And you know what I love about our leadership on our team is we're all very different, like so different. You know what I mean? Like you see some teams and they're all the same. Everyone looks the same. They sound the same. They talk the same. They walk the same. Their pictures are the same. No, I always get such a kick of whenever we go on team trips. Like corporate has literally said to me before, like, you have such a diverse, I think they're calling us crazy, but that's fine. Takes one to know one, baby. But like, they just, you know what I mean? We have such a diverse team. I think that's amazing. You can look at anybody on our team and take different pieces from them and be like, wow, this is crazy. This, like, you do really well at this, or I want to take this from you. But look around you and notice what stands out with other people and what can you do to stand out in your network. And this isn't always like your brand or your message. There can be things that make you stand out that like you don't even think about. I had really bright hair for a while. That was like my brand. Like, do you guys remember when I had blue hair? By the way, don't ever dye your hair blue because everything in your house turns blue. So annoying. Like such a mess. Okay. And then I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll dye it green. Then it turns puke color. So don't do that. Okay. So that's not my brand anymore. Red hair. It's a mess. It looks awesome. Like, wish I could just do that all the time, but I can't. I'm looking at Dawn's hair. I'm like, I want purple hair. Like, listen, I'm trying to have like purple, bright hair. That's a brand, right? What do you say that like, maybe a catchphrase you have for yourself or something that you introduce every single video with, or, something that is like consistent with you that sets you apart. Maybe it's, I think a big part of my brand is like, I'm in the trees. Like people will literally say like, what do you mean you're drinking coffee in the trees? I'm like, dude, that's like a part of me. You know what I mean? I'm out here in the trees. It's just staying safe out here, but something catchy that people can identify about you. Okay. Think about what that could be. It could be comedy, it could be your humor, it could be the tone of your voice. It could be so many different things, but what is it about you that will habitually happen over and over and over again, or show up over and over and over again? And that's just a part of your brand. You know what I mean? So let's talk about targeting your audience. So now, do we feel good about our brand? Like, do we feel good that we know why a brand is important, and we know that how we can start generating ideas of what this is going to be? So to recap, we know why it's important, because you're not going to connect with people if you don't. And we know how to start generating ideas for our brand, because we're just going to write down things that we're passionate about. We're going to write things that are, maybe it's not even what you're passionate about. It can just be things in your life. Like maybe you're like, man, I have a blended family, and like and okay, that's probably not a good example, because it's like you would be passionate about your family, obviously, but you know what I'm trying to say. But like that's so Chris is dying. Okay, maybe it's like I don't know, like I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? It's things that are you, like things that are in your life. This is what's happening. This is going to be how you start building that list. Now, once you have the list, the next step to this is going to be tips for I have a couple tips for building your brand, and then we're going to talk about how to target your audience. Okay, Rachel says, I'm a Mennonite. That's something that sets me apart from others. I love that. I actually used to follow a girl. I wish I could remember her name. She was a Mennonite, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, she shared her lifestyle, and it's like, that's a good example. And I know, Rachel, that this isn't what you're saying, but like other people think about things like that as, why would I share that? Like, this is so awesome. Okay. It's like part of your life. So it feels like it's like some people would be like, well, this is just my life. So it's not, maybe it's people don't want to see it. People do want to see it. People are so nosy. They want to see the behind the scenes. They want to see what your life is like. And this goes for everything. So just like, this is such a great example. I'm glad you said that. And I'm going to give you some specific tips on how you can expand on this. Okay. So tips for targeting your audience. Okay. So now that you know who you are, you know what your brand, what your interests are, what you're passionate about. Now you need to find out who your people are, right? Who are you speaking to? Who are the people that you're solving the problem for? Who are the people you want to connect with? You do not want to be everything for everyone. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a story. A couple years ago, I dabbled my little toes in affiliate marketing. So what affiliate marketing, the type that I did was, it was like faceless affiliate marketing. By the way, I'm going to tell you guys this, don't do it, because I ended up losing like 50 grand. Okay. Because in order to do this, yeah, real numbers. Okay. It was just like Facebook. Anyways, basically like you would create a page on Facebook, and then you would like, I'm going to tell you guys, want to know, do you guys want to know this? This is going to like circle back. Okay. So just follow me. So there basically is like companies that have different types of product, from weight loss products to, I remember there was one called like Ted's Woodworking, and it was like the product was selling woodworking like booklets to teach you how to do things, which actually, now that I think about it, is probably pretty cool. But anyways, I didn't do that. I just chose these other products. Anyways, and so you build a page on Facebook. So not like, it doesn't say like Jackie Deering, it was like a faceless page, basically. What you do is you warm up the page to get followers to it. And once it's at a certain threshold, you would then run targeted ads with ad copy and photos and videos, where then, when you go down Facebook and you see these sponsored ads and you're like, oh, how did these get there? Yeah, don't trust them. They're people like, doing affiliate marketing. And it's like, I learned a lot doing that. I'm like, whoa, this is like really crazy. Anyways, so what we would do is we would build these pages, have it's actually very similar to this. So I'll tell you, one example that I saw a lot. There was a product called Reflex or something like that. It's like a weight loss product. Okay. So you would build this page, and it would be something called like, we had a page called like healthy recipes. Okay. So we build this page. Then on the page, we would post things of value, recipes off like that we would get from Pinterest. We'd post like, oh, here's a nice little life hack or whatever. And we'd get likes to the page. So we'd be paying to get people to like click on our page, like it, Once it hit a certain threshold, then you were able to start running your targeted ads. So our targeted ads came from ad copy. You would have 5 different ad copies, which, by the way, I used to pay this person like so much money to do it. If Chat GPT was around, I would have just saved like 20 grand, baby. But I didn't. I paid way too much money to have this person write these crappy ad copies. Anyways, what you would do once they ran is it would combine all your ad copies and your photos and your videos, and then it would produce different combinations of them. And then you would run these ads for like 3 days. And then once you were dialed into the ones that worked and the ones that didn't, you would trim the fat, you would kill off the ones that didn't do well. And you would like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you would funnel the rest of your money, and you would like what am I trying to say? You would up your budget for it. So like you would find something that worked, and then you would up your budget, and then it's basically like throwing gasoline on the fire. So you're trimming the fat off the stuff that doesn't work, and then you're putting more into the stuff that does. So what I learned through that was it's better to be more specific. Yes, amazing how I'm telling you right now, people want to talk about real businesses. Man, we bought a franchise, like, oh my gosh, and like lost all of it. You know what I mean? Like COVID hit, boom, 50 grand down the drain there. You want to talk about taking losses, $100,000 on failed businesses in 1 year, like that'll humble you very quickly. $99 to do this business is like, I would pay 100 grand to do it. Anyways, so what I learned through that is you have to target in. This is the power of building your brand. It's not about being everything to everybody. It's being everything to a specific niche or a specific market. And when you do that, the exposure literally like it explodes. Okay. So, you can't be everything to everyone. Like I have a like little tip here, if we talked about this already before, but like if you're a mom and you're like, my brand is being a mom. Okay, what kind of, are you like an adoptive mom? Are you a crunchy mom? Are you like a blended family mom? Narrowing your target market allows you to form a brand. Okay. So some of the things that you want to think about when targeting your audience of who you want to connect with, and these are the things you want to write down. What are their age? What's a crunchy mom? A crunchy mom is like, oh, I'm gonna home make my granola. That. I feel like Krista's kind of a crunchy mom. Not to call Krista out. I wish I was a crunchy mom. I'm like, come on, baby, let's have some corn pops. But also, I'm gonna make sour bread or sourdough bread, not sour bread. I'm trying my best. Okay. I went to Thrifty's the other day, so I'm pretty much a crunchy mom now. Anyways, you just have to find out who you're speaking to. What is their age? Okay. What's their gender? Maybe you're like, hey, I'm all in on women. That's my market. That's my brand. Like for me, I genuinely will attract women, but this is like the other thing. As you stay true to your brand in the different categories, you will enroll, like it will expand. So I enroll men. I mean, I think Jack's on here. He's killing it. Like, can we just give a shout out to Jack, by the way? He is like, if you need a guy to follow, Jack is killing it. Okay. So anyways, age, gender, location. Maybe it's like, I want to attract moms in Canada or moms in the US. What's their income level? What's their education level? What are they motivated by? Like you're building an avatar of who you want to speak to. What are their goals? What are their hobbies? What brands do they like? These are all the things that you can start targeting in your avatar ideal person. Here's the other thing that's very powerful about this. When you know your target audience, while you're creating content and value around your brand or your niche, you can manually go find these people through things like Facebook groups. So 2 ways that you're going to build. The content that you put out, we're going to talk about this in a second, will naturally attract people to you. But I'm the type of person, and you can put a yes if you are as well, I'm not waiting for stuff to go off. Like I'm going after it. I'm not waiting for people to come to me. I'm either going to them or they're coming to me. And if they're not coming to me, I'm going to them. So if you know that your market is, you're like, my target market is I want to connect with other Mennonites, I want to connect with other people who have blended families. I want to connect with other people who live on Vancouver Island. I want to connect with other railway wives. I want to connect with other sourdough starter moms. You can go find these people in groups very simply and just add them. Now, I do not add them and message them. I don't add them and say, hello, I see you are a fellow sourdough starter mom. Would you be interested in trying that crazy wrap thing? No, blocked. You're going to get blocked so quick. But what I do is I go into the groups, I add people from them, and then guess what I do? I'm so consistent on what I post on social media that I don't care when they come to me. They can come to me today, tomorrow, next year. Doesn't matter. But I know that if someone comes into my network, they're either going to watch me and find value in what I do. Maybe they never join me. I don't care. But like, you know what I'm saying? Or they're going to block me and I don't care. Like I just add. And so when you go into these groups, it's kind of funny. I remember when I started this business and I was like, railway wife was my biggest niche. Like that was my thing. And so I would go into these, I would search just on Facebook, railway wife. I clicked groups, right? And then I would go add them all. And then I wouldn't message them, but I knew you have a connection to me in some way because you are also a railway wife. So then when they're on my page, they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like you're speaking directly to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. But like, really, it's genuine because I do want to connect with other railway moms. I have railway moms on my network that have never joined my business and I don't care. But it's like, no, this is smart business. Get in front of the people that your target market is, you know? So next part. What was I? Okay, so and here's an example that I have. Okay, actually, this is kind of interesting. Who here knows Gary Vee? Obviously, like you've probably seen him. Okay, this is a perfect example of somebody who's really narrowed in their brand and how they've obviously accelerated in our industry and they've accelerated in the business world, but they're so specific in what they do. For example, Gary Vee swears a lot, right? Gary Vee curses, he swears. If you are not somebody that curses or swears, you are not going to connect with him. You are probably not going to be inspired by him. You are probably not going to do business with him. He doesn't care because there's enough people out there right now that are like, man, I do. So like not bothered by me, right? So that's just a perfect example of like, think about the hate that guy gets, right? Oh, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that. I mean, obviously we're getting it on a lesser scale if you get it, but it proves like you don't need to be for everybody. Like you just need to know who you're talking to and like that there's the relatability. Okay. So, okay, let's talk about tips for building a smart brand. By the way, is this helping you guys? Give me like if this is helping you, are we learning? Are we taking notes? If you have questions, we can take them at the end, but I want to keep moving through this. So tips for building your brand. Start small, then expand. Don't be scared to change it. Don't be scared to expand on it. You have to be authentic and transparent. Be okay to trip over your words. Have a brand, like it's called a brand voice. So how you want to be perceived and have it be consistent. Like, you guys know what to expect when I talk. You know what I mean? I'm like trying not to swear. I'm trying not to curse. I'm talking pretty fast. I have good energy. Like, this is who I am. If all of a sudden I came on tomorrow and was like, okay, everyone, gather in. Bring it on down, guys. We're going to do a little training today. We're going to talk about our feelings and why we love greens. You'd be like, what the hell is Jackie on? Because that's not who I am. And so with your brand voice, decide what you want to be perceived as and don't change it. Like, who are you? Here's some keywords you can write down. Are you informative? Caitlin Kotick, I would be there for it. She just wants me to be quiet. So I'm not doing it, Kotick. I'm not doing it. Are you motivational? Are you funny? Are you professional? Are you kid friendly? If I tell you, Andrew, I'd have to kill you. So, big heart. Who are you and what do you want to portray? That's the question you want to ask yourself. And like, show up as that, right? Here's the next part. This is like probably going to make some of you nervous. Your brand will be built bigger and faster when you can tell your own stories and vulnerabilities. We kind of talked about this earlier, but this is the deepest form of connections. That's your alter ego named Rainbow. maybe I'll just pull that one out one day and just shock everybody. No, your brand is going to be built bigger and faster when you can tell your own stories. And the things that maybe you're a little bit vulnerable, maybe makes you a little bit uncomfortable is very powerful. I feel like I have grown the most and attracted the most people when I've shared just real, and again, it's not about letting all your skeletons out of the closet. It's just understanding that people don't connect through success. I feel like people connect through the struggle. I feel like people connect through the valley. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear that you make millions of dollars a year. I want to know how you got there. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know like the setbacks that you had to form you into that person that made you win. Right? So it's like kind of taking the pressure off and feeling that you have to be at this level to start, when the reality is the inspiration is going to come from the start, because very few people are on the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? Like, be the one that's willing to share your story. Now, I'm going to give you some tips on that, but while you're doing this, make sure, to let your personality come through. I can't tell you how many people will just go out of their way and be like, Jackie, I literally hate I hate you on TikTok. And I'm like, dude, that's fine. Like, you're annoying. How could she show up like that? And I think, it's like that saying, it's like, it's kind of cliche, but it's like, if you don't, okay, it sounds so dumb when I say it. If you don't have haters, you're not doing it right. But my question to you would be, if you're like, I don't have anybody questioning what I do, or anybody, hating is a strong word, but it's like, if that's you, do you feel like you're actually showing up for who you are? Or do you think you're staying small to make sure that nobody has an opinion? Right? So it's like the switch from like not caring to knowing that there's just people that are going to poop on your parade and who cares. But the people that you find when you're who you are will expedite the growth in your business. Don't be scared to show your personality, every quirk, everything. Like, this is just what people want to see. Like, let your personality shine. And it doesn't have to be this big, loud personality. Like, maybe you're just quiet. Maybe you're soft. Maybe you're spontaneous. Maybe you're high energy. Maybe you're like, a classic, like sleek, whatever. Maybe you're funny. Maybe you have, sarcasm, and you're like, I don't think I could be like that on the internet. You can, right? Don't switch and jump between who you feel like you should be. Let me just say this: comparison is literally the thief of joy. In a social media business, it is so hard not to compare, but please do not compare yourself to anybody, because your peaks are their valleys and their valleys are your peaks. It will always, you are not in competition with anybody else but yourself, and you need to hear that. So just be yourself, be who you are. Like, and honor that, you know what I mean? Like, somebody out there needs you to be you, so they can believe that they can do it too. Okay. Share the behind the scenes stuff. Show people who you actually are. Some people think they need to hide who they are. You don't need to hide who you are. Okay. Now let's talk about the 4 pillars. This is I know we're coming up to an hour, but this is really good. So, 4 pillars of business. This is going to help you build out your brand. So we already know our interest, our passion, our things that light our soul on fire, but now we need our pillars. I want you guys to think of 4 pillars that are not it works, that has nothing to do with the business, 4 things that are you. They're your interests, they're your life, that this is you, this is your brand, this is your pillar. Post about this more than you do about your business. I'm going to give you some examples of this, okay? I have a formula that I learned from another network marketer that I think is something that you don't have to follow to a T, but just to give you the example of what this is. It's called the 10-4-1 rule. So in a week's time, you're to post 15 times, okay? If you were to post 15 times in 1 week, yeah, dude, sandwiches is Caitlin Kotick's. This is so true. Sorry, I gotta say this. I made a sandwich yesterday, and the first thing I thought of was I need to send Caitlin Kotick a picture, because she used to always do that to me. She'd send a picture of her sandwich, and I'd be like, why are you doing that? So rude. Like, you're not gonna make me that sandwich. But like, isn't that interesting that something as small and insignificant as a sandwich, as soon as I made it, had me thinking about Caitlin Kotick? Right? Anyways, so if you're posting 15 times in a week. 10 of those should be nothing about the business. So write down 10, 4, 1. That's in a week. 10, nothing about the business. This is your pillars. This is the value. This is the you. This is your life. This is the relatability. 4 of them will be dripping the product in the business, right? It'll be maybe you're talking in your story about making your sourdough starter, but you're just showing your aloe that you quickly take in the morning. It's a drip. Maybe you're out for a walk with your kids and then you just show that you're drinking your keto coffee. It's a drip. 1 a week should be that hard-hitting post. I'm looking for 2 people that want to lose weight. Comment yes. You will find way more interaction when you do that and then have that 1 post that hits them hard versus 20 posts all day long where everybody sees the same stuff anyway and they're just like skipping over it. Okay? When you're making your posts, think about what you're posting. Don't just post to post, okay? Think about the person that you're trying to attract. If I was the person that was a railway wife and my goal was to find people to do business, would I be attracted to this post? Anna Marie asked, what's the ratio again? So again, guys, write this down. 10, 4, 1. In a week, that's 15 posts. 10 of them, value, pillar. This is going to bring people to you. 4, dripping your products in your business. 1, hit them hard. I'm looking to help somebody get started in business today. I'm looking for somebody that wants to try the weight loss pack I'm always talking about. Now, I want to give you some examples of my pillars so you can see. Okay, I want to see, actually, we're going to do a little test. What do you think my pillars are? I have them right here on my computer. So I want to know, what do you think? What are some things that come to mind when you think about what you see in my page? Hiking, kids, nature, kids, lake, trees, island. Funny. Thank you, Gloria. You win tonight. You're the winner. Dogs, mom of 2, outside forest, kids, dog, pet mom. Yes. Okay. Elk. Okay, not yet, but it will be. You wait. I have people, this is how you know it works. People will tell me that live on the island. They're like, Jackie, you're not supposed to feed the elks. I'm like, okay, I'll never do it again. No, just joking. Don't tell anybody that. It's our secret. Okay, that's all 68 of us. Just keep that to yourself. Anyways, my examples here. My crazy dad. Vancouver Island living. Hiking. Those are my first 2. So like, see how it was like immediate? Comedy and funny mom content. Helping people have freedom and location freedom. Dog mom, travel, and gut health. Those are my pillars that I wrote down. And then of course It Works is going to be a part of that. My dad, Xmas suit. Yeah. You know. So when you have your pillars, okay, so here's the task for you tonight. Write down your 4 pillars. So let's say it's Vancouver Island. Let's say it's comedy/funny mom content. Let's say it's travel and gut health. When I have these feral cats, they are feral. Once I have these down, okay, now I can create content within these things. So for example, let's say Vancouver Island living was one of my pillars. If you write that on your piece of paper, underneath, just do some little point forms. What are the things within that you can post? I want you to think of value. I want you to think of maybe it's inspiration, relatability, comedy, like things within that will bring those people to you. So I have an example I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you how I got to this example and how you can use your pillars to create very easy content, okay? So what I did, just for the purpose of this Zoom, was I did Vancouver Island content, okay? So what I just went to Google and I typed in, what are 3 fun things to do on Vancouver Island? Now, I'm not going to play the reel because I already told you I hate listening to myself talk. But if you go to my Instagram, Jackie Elizabeth, okay? The last reel that I posted, it's 3 fun things to do while you're on Vancouver Island. So it basically is just like, hey, Vancouver Island is one of the best places in Canada. Here's why I love it. I'm going to tell you 3 fun things that you can do. And then I just took pictures of I didn't even these are not my pictures. I went to Pinterest and I'm like, the Malahat Skywalk, here's what it is. I just Googled it, right? Because I have done it, but I haven't, these aren't my pictures, right? You don't have to say you've done it if you haven't done it. You could just say, here's something that's recommended. Number 2, Port Renfrew Beach. That was one of the things that made me go to the island. I love that beach. And I'm just literally sharing it. So go watch this. It'll make more sense. But that's an example of something where it has nothing to do with the business. But I mean, I just posted it has 100 likes already, or 100 views, right? Now, I may do that and it may not get anywhere. But if you stay consistent on that, do you think eventually one of them will go? Yes, 1,000,000%, right? So create content within those niches and brands. Now, the other thing is once you know your pillars, once I know that my pillar is Vancouver Island living, guys, like you can I don't like you can copy other people, but I'm going to be real. I copied my way to the top of this business. I found people that were successful and I replicated what they were doing. So with your 4 pillars now, right? Like I know that one of Sherry's pillars is she's a truck driver. She talks about that. She attracts truck drivers. Sherry could go to Instagram and say, truck driver memes or truck driver content, right? And then all this inspiration comes up of other people creating this content, and then you're going to be able to recreate it. So do you guys see how when you know your pillars, it'll easily allow you to find the content to create within it? She could go to Google and say, what are the 10 funny stories about becoming a truck driver or whatever? What are the 10 of the craziest things that you've seen on the road? Things like this, right? I don't know why I keep talking about sourdough, but like, what's the easiest sourdough starter recipe? Like, boom, you think you're not going to get in front of more sourdough starter people? This could be for anything, okay? Now, once you have the pillars, once you have the inspiration for the content within it, again, you can go into groups, you can find these people manually, you can find other creators on social media who post within that same niche for inspiration. And then just think, in that content, you want to give value. Maybe you tell a story, you ask advice, you share tips, you give information, you teach. It doesn't have to be with the business. But if you can watch that video that I did, you'll see that I have an intro, a hook. Here's 3 things to do on Vancouver Island. Boom, right away, somebody from Vancouver Island is going to see that. Value in the middle. At the end, call to action. Follow me for more Vancouver Island content. And then all of a sudden, you're known to be that person. And then let's just talk about what happens when you do that religiously. Like this is like, forget it works for a second. What if you were like, okay, my brand is I love these pens. One of my brands is I am a Bic pen owner. And I love Bic pens. They are the best writing pens in the world. And I'm gonna give you 20 reels on why Bic pen is the best pen you will ever own and why I love it. And here's my story. You don't think that if you start like this is your brand, that Bic pen one day isn't gonna be like, hello, Jackie, can you be my affiliate for Bic pen? And now I'm like talking on my fake. I'm like, hello. Now there's more. They are pretty good pens. I'm not gonna lie. Bic, sponsor me. I'm just joking. But like, think about the other doors that open up for you when you actually, like, you're not at Works. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you're like, I love boutique clothing. Well, do you think if you start like repping what you do in a way that's attractive to, you're not going to get sponsored or you're not going to get an affiliate code for something? Like, there's just other opportunities that come from that. Okay, last part of this, you guys, storytelling for your brand. Now, this is going to be effective for you to reach the people that you want, but also to sign distributors. And I mean, also to sign customers, really, because storytelling gets an emotion from people. This is going to teach you how to tell an effective story. So just write that. We're almost done. We'll be 3 minutes. Number 1, facts tell, stories sell. People buy from people they connect with, and people that can tell a story effectively will move business faster. They make people feel things, and people will take action when there's an emotion tied behind it. So in this business, you're going to have, written word, short written captions. You might have a longer post. There's also spoken word. So speaking in your story, doing live videos, doing reels, things like that. You want to get good at telling your story, short version, long version, speaking version. Everyone has a story. Your story started before this business. Everyone's story has importance. Again, like I said before, you think your story isn't important because you're the one waking up and living it, but the person on the outside does see value in it. So how do you tell a story? So there's 3 parts, okay? Number 1, before whatever situation you're in, take them to the past. So before whatever you're trying to present. So if it's about the business, before this business, before the product journey, before your business journey, you need to take people back before you started. This is where people will relate. Okay. Part 2 is the current status. What you've experienced since joining our team, since joining It Works, since joining network marketing, since trying product XYZ. So part 2 is your current, where you currently are. And the third and last part is taking people into the future, where you see yourself because of the product, opportunity, or story that you're telling. When you can get good at telling your story, and I want to give you a tip too on this, there's an art to this, okay? Don't overshare. Don't go into you're going to close more people and attract more people when you can tell your story in a way that's broad and not specific details. Like, for example, if you're telling a story about your kid, right? It doesn't need to be that your kid is blood type A, B, C, likes chicken nuggets for dinner. That's not the point of the story. So it's like learning to say enough where if you need to later, you can dive deeper, but be it enough where it's going to attract a broad network of people. So I want to end this with an example of how I would tell a story if I was trying to attract a distributor. Okay, I'm not going to tell you my story because I want you to see how simple this can be. Give me a type of person. Give me somebody that may be someone in this business. Not like a mom, give me a type of person. Give me somebody type it in the chat. No, not like a personality, okay, here we go. Sheep farmer. I don't really know anything about sheep farmers. Okay. So Andrea, don't kill me. I don't know nothing about sheep or farming, but here's what I mean. And I want you guys to see how I take you through the before, the current, and the after. Okay. So before I found this business, I was a sheep farmer. I actually was working on my parents' farm. We have a sheep farm. It's been in our family forever, and I love it. I love waking up in the morning and going out there to feed the sheep. I love how it makes me feel. I love how I get to see all my sheep, Billy, Bob, and Fred. And I actually find so much joy in, being out there every single day. It makes me so happy. You guys are dying because you're like, what the heck? But you know what I'm saying? It makes me so happy to be out there with my sheep every single day. And I feel so proud to have this in my family and to be the person that's out there Billy, Bob, and Fred, that's out there, providing for my family. And I'm so happy that I get to be a part of this. Now, what you may not know about sheep farmers is there's actually a lot of expenses that go into sheep. Did you know that each of my sheep have to wear shut up, Caitlin, got it. They have to wear their own shoes. And this is a big expense. And although I love being a sheep farmer and I will always be a sheep farmer, and I have a really deep connection with Billy, Bob, and Fred, I realized that the money that I was spending on the little boots that they have to wear out in the farm were I wasn't even breaking even. And so what I realized was I saw another friend of mine, Andrea, who was also a sheep farmer. Her sheep are not as good as my sheep. They don't have names like Billy, Bob, and Fred. They don't wear boots. But anyways, Andrea, I'm trying to be serious. I can't even look at Sherry Shaw. I saw Andrea talking about this opportunity. And I'll tell you right now that I never want to not be a sheep farmer, but I realized that there were people, right? There are people making money online. And I saw that the way that she was doing this, she was able to still be a sheep farmer and still be outside with her sheep, but still be able to be on her phone and be able to make an income. So I joined her. I connected with her because what do you know? We're both sheep farmers and her sheep want to be friends with my sheep. And so I thought I would give this a try. Now I came into this business and Andrea showed me exactly what to do and how to make this, how to connect with other people. And my kids are concerned, how to connect with other people. And, now that I've joined this business, I thought I was going to not be able to do it because I, have no relation. It has no relation to being a sheep farmer. But I found that the team that we're a part of has incredible systems where any single person can learn how to do this. And so because of this, I know I'm always going to be a sheep farmer. I love it. It makes me like, I love this. It's my passion. But in the future, I know that I'm going to be able to do X, Y, and Z with this income, which will allow me to do X, Y, and Z for my sheep farm. Like, do you see what I mean? I know that was a silly example and like probably not, you know what I mean? Like I could have rolled, you guys couldn't say like teacher or something like, geez, sheep. I'm just like, I don't know anything about sheep. But do you see how it's like, you can take this from anything. This could be your product. This could be a product story, aloe. Before this, I'll tell you a story. A year ago, I was always bloated to the point where I would put on my Lululemons and they were tight. And there's like that do not cross line. Like I don't need the scale. My Lululemons were tight. I felt bloated and lethargic all the time. My skin was breaking out. Every time I would even think about eating something, I would bloat up so bad. So I saw this drink go viral on the internet and it was called aloe juice. And what I did is I bought this aloe juice. I started taking a capful every single morning. I would wake up in the morning on my sheep farm. I would take my little cap of aloe. I'd pour it in the water. I'd drink it back. It tasted like mango. Fred, Bob, and what was the other one? Billy loved it. They loved the aloe. In fact, they loved the aloe so much that I can't even let the sheep see it anymore. I have to hide it in their little wool shoes at night. But once I started taking this aloe, I understood how important gut health was. And I understood that, oh my gosh, Ashley, I felt so much better. And now I've been taking this every single day for 2 weeks. And this is how I feel. These are the results that I've had. And I'm so excited for the next 30 days because if it's done this for me now and so many other people, this is where it will take me. Like any story can be told before current where we're going. People will be inspired by the before. They will relate to the before. They will be inspired to where you're going, and they will catch your vision for where you're going. So it's just a really good formula for you to write and tell your stories. Okay. Anyways, did this help you guys tonight? Do we feel like we have a game plan? Okay, if you guys have any questions, last thing I'll say before we get off, I know we're 12 minutes over. If you're not in the team, oh my gosh, I want to know whose first team Zoom this is. Is anybody new? I didn't even think about that. Oh my gosh, sorry. Gosh, it's fine. But make sure you're in the Telegram channel, you guys. I kind of shared this in some of the chats today. I'm going to be streamlining some of my chats personally. I find like I'm sharing lots of stuff in different chats. So if you're not in the team Telegram chat, make sure you're in there. I'm going to be in there every single day with content, reels for you to recreate, things like that. If I can help with anything, send me a message. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys found value, and I'm excited for you to see what's coming tomorrow. Make sure you guys plug into the road to VIP. All right. I love you guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.